Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel for 6 things that we learned from Chelsea 2, Spurs 0 in the Carabao Cup Semi Final first leg. Chelsea did very well this evening. I looked at the team sheet and I'm thinking, Spurs look strong. We look as though we've made a few changes, but I'm not entirely sure if we're going to be strong enough. Lukaku starts up front like I predicted in my match preview. But before we get into any more of the analysis, Chelsea have done an amazing job tonight. So if you can hit the like button on this 6 things we learned video and also subscribe to GBFC if you are new around here and haven't already done so, that would be absolutely fantastic. But the first half performance was absolutely brilliant. We could have scored 4 or 5 goals, and I think Antonio Conte's team talk wouldn't have been any different than what he set them out to do in the second half, which Spurs looked in the early stages of that second half as though they were a bit more hungry, as if they had a bit more fight. They seemed to be pressing a bit higher up the field. Kepa, in the first half, did not have a single save to make. And then within the first sort of 60 seconds of the restart, it did certainly look as though Spurs were going to attack a little bit more in the second half, which did concern me. But we managed to deal with absolutely everything. And you listen to Stamford Bridge at the end of the game, everybody's singing, everybody's buzzing, and Chelsea get one over Spurs again. Antonio Conte's first domestic defeat, by the way, as manager of Tottenham Hotspur, is just fitting. You know, Spurs came to Stamford Bridge, got their first win there in 30 years when Antonio Conte was manager, and then we inflict his first defeat as Spurs manager at Stamford Bridge in a cup semi-final. I was thinking, they mentioned it on the commentary, they were talking about the 2000-2001 Worthington Cup, I think it was called, semi-final, where Chelsea won the first leg 2-1. And I remember losing 5-1. It's the first Chelsea defeat I ever remembered because my dad invited loads of his Spurs friends around the house. Because that's a bloody good idea. Chelsea were beaten 5-1 that day at the old White Hart Lane. And I remember it because I couldn't stop crying. And I went to bed in tears. I was gutted. I think I was only 5 or 6 years old. But there you go. You win some, you lose some. Tonight, Chelsea won. And we won convincingly. Now, we've got 4 green boxes, 1 yellow, and 1 red in today's video. And I will let you know that we do talk later on about Romelu Lukaku. So I'll leave you guessing throughout the start of this video. But we begin, as I open up the notebook, with a green box today for Saul Niguez. I think that was the best game that Saul Niguez has played in a Chelsea shirt. I thoroughly believe that the first half performance from him was fantastic. There were 2 fabulous slide tackles tonight from Saul Niguez. I think they were both on Heung-min Son, just on the edge of the area, perfectly positioned, perfectly timed, and he had 100% pass accuracy in the first half. But not only that, it wasn't just the stuff on the ball that I thought was excellent tonight from Saul. He was trying to move into different pockets of space in between the lines, which was very important for Chelsea, and we managed to dominate the midfield as a result of this. Spurs' press was absolutely nullified by the movement of both Jorginho and Saul. Spurs were unsure if both of them were going to just try and hover in front of the Chelsea defence and who was going to move forward. At one time it would be Saul would be the deepest. At another time it would be Jorginho as the deepest. And I think that that combination, massive credit to Thomas Tuchel tonight, because what it did is it enabled Chelsea to kind of sit back a little bit with a back 4, which is something we've not necessarily seen so much of at all. But tonight we did, so we might talk about the formation change a little later. But despite that, Chelsea playing what I would say would be 2 midfielders who you don't expect necessarily to get forward, to get opportunities. But we dominated the shots, on target, and I think a lot of that is down to the movement and the brilliant play of Saul Niguez today. He broke it up, passed it well, and was very creative in the final third as well. So Saul Niguez gets box number 1. Box number 2 is a green for Hakim Ziyech. Hakim Ziyech actually got the man of the match, which I wouldn't necessarily say he deserved the man of the match. I think Saul today, if ever there was a game in a Chelsea shirt where Saul would actually get a man of the match, I think it would have been tonight. But Ziyech gets the man of the match. What I loved about Hakim Ziyech today was his work rate. If we were defending, it was like he moved into the right wing-back position to kind of be that wing-back that we have seen since Thomas Tuchel came in, with 3 at the back, right wing-back, left wing-back. Hakim Ziyech did a brilliant job of that. But going forward, it looked as though he kind of had a bit of a free roam, which I actually think worked very well. Spurs were unsure who to focus on. They spent a lot of their time on Lukaku. Ziyech's crossing, absolutely brilliant. He could have had 3 or 4 assists tonight, but he didn't. And then I think the only issue I would say with Ziyech's game is his finishing needs to improve. He's incredibly predictable. We know he's going to try and get that bent left-footed shot. So there was one in the second half where it was a brilliant work move between Werner, Lukaku, Ziyech to finish it off. And he just kind of waits too long and then hits it straight at Hugo Lloris. But I think even Hugo Lloris would know that he was trying to wrap his leg around it and would have been ready to dive into the top corner. So Ziyech's finishing needs to improve, but I think his all-round play tonight, work rate, crossing of the ball, the potential to create opportunity for Chelsea mostly came through Hakim Ziyech, and I thought he was absolutely excellent. We move into box number 3, and I feel as though it's just always going to be the same. You know, as much as you can love or you can hate Marcos Alonso, he just always shows up against Spurs, doesn't he? In the first half, Alonso, I think, had the most touches of the ball, the most passes, won the most aerial duels. And it's just like, whenever Spurs come to town or whenever we go into Spurs' neck of the woods in North London, Marcos Alonso just absolutely bloody loves it. And I love seeing it because we can slate Alonso as much as we like. We can say, I wish Ben Chilwell was there. We could say we need to sign a left wing back in January. But he does put in solid performances quite often against some of the big boys. And Spurs is one that he absolutely loves. I thought Alonso was good tonight. I thought he nullified Spurs' attack. I think overall, Chelsea's defence, I want to give a big shout out to Malang Sarr, who looked a little bit more shaky in the second half, but I thought in the first half he was one of the best players. I actually managed to give him a box because I thought the other ones that we're going to move into next I want to talk about a little bit more. But overall, cannot fault Alonso tonight. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. We move into box number 4, and it's a yellow for Azpi. I thought Azpi was good, but it looks as though he's gone off with a hamstring injury. So when we think about it now, maybe we're going to have to see a back 4 again. But then if we see a back 4, who's going to go in right back? Azpilicueta, it looks as though, has got a hamstring injury. I'm not entirely sure yet. We're going to have to see that one tomorrow. Reece James is out for a long time. Ben Chilwell's out for a long time. Alonso just keeps on playing. And how long is he going to keep on playing before he gets injured? Azpilicueta is only a yellow box because if he is injured, what do we do? Chalobah's out. Christensen is out. We're going to have to recall somebody ASAP, Rocky. Chelsea are going to struggle massively. If these injuries just keep on coming, which they do every single game, we get another injury. And if it is a hamstring for Azpilicueta, then it could be a couple of weeks. And we've got Spurs 2 more times, Manchester City. We've got to respect Chesterfield at the weekend too. You never know. They're going to be coming to this game so excited for this. Their admin on social media has been messaging me, asking me to do a bloody Q&A. It's amazing. Chesterfield in the Cup is not going to be easy. You never know. I wonder what we're going to do. Chelsea, injury, Azpilicueta. Say no more. It's January, but we're still getting the December curse coming and striking us. But we've won 2-0 tonight. But we must move into box number 5. And I've given a red to Romelu Lukaku. And I think after everything that's happened, there was only really one thing that is going to enable us to kind of forget what has happened. If what the interview hadn't have happened and this whole ordeal hadn't have actually existed, I'd have probably given him still a red, to be honest, tonight, because he didn't impose himself on the game whatsoever. And for a man who is often such a bully to opposition defenders, I feel as though he got bullied by Spurs defenders tonight, which you could argue that Spurs would have probably gone out there to try and attack that tonight, to try and home in on the nerves potentially that Lukaku might have been feeling with that expectance from the Chelsea crowd to put in a performance, to score goals. He didn't do that, and I feel as though he didn't move and work enough to even try and involve himself in the game more. I think the only good thing he did was the link up to give Hakim Ziyech that chance that we spoke about earlier with Timo Werner, Lukaku, Ziyech. Romelu, mate, you've got to do more than that. He has one header, which is on a plate for him, and he heads it wide. And for me, it's going to take a lot more than just being in the team for me to forget, for me to fully forgive what Romelu Lukaku has done. And the performance tonight, for me, it's a red. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Do you think he worked hard? I personally don't. Do you think he got involved? I personally don't. But let me know your thoughts on Lukaku in the comments below. We're going to wrap it up though today with a green box for a formation change. Azpilicueta's injury means that we might only see that in this game tonight. But Chelsea played pretty much the whole of this game with a back four, which I think Thomas Tuchel, again, it's a massive credit to him. Looking at the personnel we have available, looking at how that we can try and move from a back three so that we could potentially have a plan B for the future. The way that Spurs had absolutely nothing to say to us tonight. Kepa made 2 saves that I remember the whole evening. One late on from Lo Celso, which he's got down low to, and another from a Harry Kane free kick, where he gets down low and saves well on his near side. Kepa with really nothing to do. Chelsea dominating Tottenham, winning 2-0. Does it get much better than this for a Wednesday night in January? I don't think it does. If you did enjoy the video, hit the like button. Subscribe to GBFC if you are new. Still got a bit of a cold, so I'm going to go and get myself to bed after this. Great result, 2-0 Chelsea. Roll on the second leg, but we've also got an FA Cup game to look forward to at the weekend. Come on, you Blues.